So here we have this interspousal transfer deed. The question is it legitimate? It really looks legitimate. What I did here is I scanned it using the scanner that's over here on the table. And I scanned, you can't really see that. That's the rear of the document. In order to do this work, I had to go to the courtroom because the deed was in possession of the court, the judge had it. So he allowed me to go to the courtroom and scan the document. So that's the rear, but you really can't see it all that well here. So we had a deed for lots 18 and 19. The deed in question is for lot 12. Question is it legitimate? So the question that the ex-husband was raising was, is this somehow created from lots 18 and 19 deed? So this is the front of lots 18 and 19. What I did, and here's where Adobe Photoshop comes into play. I had scanned both documents. I changed the color on one of the deeds to red, left the other one black, and using Photoshop, lifted one of the deeds and placed it on top of the other one to see how well do they comport. Well, they're photocopies. So the photocopy, one of the problems with photocopy is your photocopy is never, ever a duplicate of the original document that was copied. The photocopy process generally changes the size by approximately 1%. Now when you have multiple generation copies, that 1% becomes a larger issue. Now our eyes can't perceive that because we can't see that 1%, yet when you overlay like this, it becomes apparent. Yet when we look at, for example, down here, look how well those, when aligning the handwriting, everything just perfectly matches. We get differences in here. We'll see some of the close-ups. Here's an enlargement. Now this one says lot 12 / / / This one says lots 18 and 19. But these line up very nicely. Notice that the dots from both pages line up. What that means is one is a photocopy of the other, and that original dot was on probably on the initial deed. And when they made a photocopy of it, it just copied that dot. It's in the same location. So this is where enlargement comes in. But we have to do this. We have to get into more of a microscopic area, because going with the enlargement really shows us that deviation between documents or the alignment within documents. When overlaid and superimposed, what I did is I lined up the date. So this is really a red date superimposed over a black date. You can't tell the black date's there because it's a perfect match. Now, the photocopy process changed some of the alignment a little bit. So when it came down here to this part, it's off a little bit, not much. Yet you can see that the way the Los Angeles and on date, that all lines up very, very well. So was one a copy of the other? Well, maybe we need a little more evidence. This is an enlargement of the scan. You can see the ghost of the lots 18 and 19 there. But what happened? I don't know whether she did this, she hired someone to do it, or just asked a friend to do it. What happened? What's that?
White out.
No, it's not white out. What happened is Someone took a very sharp instrument, scraped off the pointer, but it left the ghost, took a typewriter, and typed over the old numbers. And my guess is the person probably did it several times in order to get it this good. Finally got it really good and recorded it with the county recorder's office. But you can see the ghost left behind on there. So here's another example. On this one, we can see on the scan of the back side, we can see here's a comma and so on. And we can see the 2 is typed over it. Let me see, do I have, yeah. I don't know if you can see that from back there. You probably can see it when you look at it on your screen on the handout. But what happened on here is this 7 is typed over a 5, 5 was typed over a 1, and what I was able to show in court through enlargements is that the typed ink had white gaps in it. And the reason the typed ink had white gaps in it is because the paper was disturbed from, the paper fibers were disturbed from scraping off. Therefore, the ink, when the hammer struck, it didn't have a firm imprint, and the valleys between the paper fibers that were disturbed didn't get any ink. I mean, to initially look at it, and had I not scanned the back side also, that would have made it a little more difficult to prove. But on this, because see how this is actually raised on the back? The reason it's raised is because the hammer of the typewriter hitting the paper pushes it through. And that's how I was able to tell that it was a typewriter, not a printer. You know, a laser printer or something of that nature.
So what was the outcome?
The outcome was that the judge gave the 40% back to the husband. And what else happened, I don't know. Here's another example. See, here it originally said 18, and now it has the slash through it. There's the 1, the 8. Here we have, this is pointing down, this is an enlargement of this area here, this is an enlargement of this area over here. Point is, don't get too carried away with trying to alter these. And there's one more. This one you can actually see some of the areas where, but seeing that 2, there's a white area right up there. So you can see that the typewriter impact didn't quite get it because it disturbed paper fibers up there. So the opinion of the court, that was the deed number, is identified as having been created from this deed number. It was pretty obvious after all the presentation.